Hey everyone, so before I get started, please excuse any outdoor noise. It is really hot, so I have to have the window open. So there's a lot to cover in this video, because these crazy feminists, I'm talking about the radical ones, they just cannot stop complaining about Wonder Woman, and it's really freaking annoying. I knew it was gonna happen, I just knew it. Like, you know, Wonder Woman, she's having great success critically in the box office, and you know, fans are loving her, and you know, she's getting new fans, so it's this great thing, right? And also Patty Jenkins, also she's done something wonderful for female directors, so of course, you know, feminists, the crazy ones, they can't stand by and just let us be happy, right? They have to go and rain on the parade and ruin it. So
here we go.
First, let's cover a recent thing that I just found out about. This fake news story that freaking Buzzfeed tried to push. I don't like Buzzfeed, I'm sorry. Now you're just giving me more reasons to not like Buzzfeed. But they tried to push a story about how Gal Gadot was making less than Henry Cavill. So they're trying to put two of my favorite people against each other. Because I love both of them. So basically BuzzFeed was pushing the story that Gal Gadot made $300,000 for Wonder Woman while Henry Cavill made $14 million. And it was not true because they're idiots and they just go by any source apparently. They don't really try to do proper research and, you know, get the correct information. So they retracted the story, or well, they changed the headline. It says, despite what you've heard from us, Gal Gadot was paid at least as much as Henry Cavill for Wonder Woman. So, you know, they were just trying to push this agenda again of sexism everywhere. I'm not saying sexism doesn't exist, but seriously, you guys try to, like, every little time you can, you try to just push your agenda right there. So no, they actually both made around the same amount. You know, Henry Cavill made around the same amount, like $300,000 for Man of Steel, and Gal Gadot made the same too, both 300K, around that much. So BuzzFeed, shut the heck up, please. Oh god, it's so frustrating. Do your research before you post anything. That's one reason I don't like you guys, because you seem to just jump on anything that goes with your agenda. You don't actually do your research, and you always don't seem to know what you're talking about. So it's really annoying. I'm glad that finally got cleared up, but BuzzFeed, just stop it. I wish BuzzFeed would just go away. I'm sorry. You guys just, and you guys make a lot of pointless videos. I just saw some recently, but I'm not going to say which ones they are because I don't want you guys to go watch them and give them views. But somehow I saw this, like, stupid BuzzFeed videos, like, really? So moving on. Not only did they get Wonder Woman removed as the honorary UN ambassador, I made a video about that, so you can watch that. I'll post it in the video description. I made a whole video about that because it was so stupid, because it was supposedly issues with her body, because she's too good looking apparently to be an honorary ambassador. You have to be really ugly, I guess, to be an honorary ambassador. So they got her removed from that. I don't want to repeat everything I said in the video, so if you want to see the video, you can watch it below. Then, you know, they complain about her hairless armpits. She doesn't have hairy armpits in the comics, so did you guys even read the comics?
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
I made another video commentary about that. You can check it out in the link below because I don't want to repeat myself. Basically, my point was she doesn't have hairy armpits in the comics. So why do you want them to just add hair in her armpits when she didn't have that in the comics? And why are you complaining about just Wonder Woman having hairless armpits when there's many other period films that have been made with women in them and you didn't complain about them having hairless armpits? But Wonder Woman, she cannot have hairless armpits, even though she's had them for decades in the comics. So you guys just really do not even read the comics. You guys just try to find anything to complain about, which is just so annoying. And I wish people wouldn't give them attention. Just like, don't retweet their stuff, don't say anything, just let them complain and like air. But then I find out about them and it's like, ah, dang it. And I also want to say something because it's getting ridiculous, and also as a woman I feel like I need to say something, because if a man said the same things I'm saying right now, you would just be like, not you, but you know, any those feminists would just be like, oh well, you're a man, you're sexist, blah blah blah. Well, I'm not a man, so you can't use that excuse now, okay? We're just using logic, okay? So as a woman I feel like I need to speak up, because also, you know, I just want to say that not all women think like this. It's just crazy. Honestly, you guys just seem to make everything about yourselves. For example, Gal Gadot, oh gosh, I don't even know how to pronounce the name, but her loving, supportive husband posted a picture, which I thought was very cute, on Instagram. It says, it's a shirt, it says, your wife is just, I guess, regular woman. His wife is Wonder Woman. And she's like pointing, smiling. What is the freaking problem with that? Like, I saw that and I thought it was cool. Like, obviously you want your husband or, you know, your significant other to think you're awesome, and probably more awesome than any other person, because why would you be with someone who you don't you know, if you think other people are better than the person you're with, why would you be with that person? Obviously you're gonna think, hopefully, that the person you're with is better than all of them, but that's not insulting everyone else, just saying like, my wife is awesome, I think she's the best. If he says, oh, I think she's the best or whatever, he thinks that, he's not saying you guys are freaking horrible, you're trash. No, it just means he loves his wife and he thinks she's awesome and he's supporting her. And not just that, she's actually playing Wonder Woman in the movie, so it's another added little thing. Any other guy could wear that shirt and I would understand, oh, well, you think your wife is awesome, that's great. I'm not gonna be like, oh wait, are you saying I'm horrible? Are you saying I'm stupid? What? No, like, because I don't, you know, I don't want your husband or someone else's husband to think I'm like the best thing ever. No, you should think that the person you're with is the best thing ever. It would be really weird if you thought other people were like better than your wife, or you wanted them more than your wife. It's weird. Somebody retweeted the picture and then somebody on Twitter complained, I don't think it's cool to show pride in your wife by saying other women are inferior to her. Making it about yourself. He's not talking about you, he's not talking about other women, he's talking about his wife and how he thinks she's awesome, and there's nothing wrong with that. Stop making it about yourself, okay? Can I just slap some people? Slap some sense into you guys, really? So no, it's great. What he wore is fine, the shirt is awesome. You know, if a girl had the same thing where like, you know, regular guy, your husband, and Superman is her husband, then that'd be fine. That's not saying anything bad about that all men are horrible. Like, again, you should, hopefully whoever you're with, your significant other, hopefully they think you're the best or you're the most awesome thing ever, because why? Like, why would you want to be with someone who doesn't think you're the best? Like, obviously that's why they're dating you, because they think you're the best that there is. So it's not an insult. When I hear my guy friends who have girlfriends talk about, you know, things that they like about their girlfriends or why they're awesome, or wives or whatever, you know, if they, you know, they're so in love with them, I think it's cute. I'm like, oh, that's so sweet, you know, that's really cute. I think, oh, hopefully I find somebody who thinks about me in that way too, you know. I don't get offended by them complimenting their significant other. If they're saying nice things about their significant other, not like, what, you're saying I'm stupid or saying I'm not good enough? No, because he's not talking about me, he's talking about his significant other, and I think it's cute, and that's how it should be, okay? You should think that, you know, the person you're with is amazing. I'm not saying you have to think they're perfect and they're a god or anything like that, but you should think they're amazing, or else why are you gonna be with them? So there's nothing wrong with his shirt, so shut up, stop making it about yourselves. So next, a writer from Slate, Christina Catrici, I don't know, I'm not gonna read the whole article, you guys can read it, post a link in the description, because if I read the whole thing it's gonna take hours to finish this video. She's complaining about how, I wish Wonder Woman were as feminist as it thinks it is. First she said she didn't cry throughout the movie, that she said half the time her eyes were rolling out of her head. She complained about how people say she's the most beautiful woman you've ever seen. Throughout the movie they make references about how she's distracting and beautiful, and she is. What, they can't acknowledge that? Someone's beautiful, you can't acknowledge that she's beautiful? They're not being gross about it, they're not being like, hey baby, like, they're not being rude about it, they're just acknowledging that she is good looking, and for certain situations it might not help that she's distracting because it could ruin the plan or something. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that someone's, you know, pretty, like, and like I said, they're not doing it in a rude, gross way, they're just acknowledging that she's good looking. So there's nothing wrong with that, okay? And then she complained about Sammy saying that he was both frightened and aroused in that scene in Wonder Woman, and I'm just like, he's a guy, a straight guy that's attracted to this beautiful woman, and she just kicked someone's butt. So it totally makes sense for him to say that, and plus it was funny. When Sammy, I don't think she acknowledged this, but Sammy tried to get a little fresh with Wonder Woman, you know, he tried to put his hands on her, she moved his hands away but did you acknowledge that part? No, you didn't. And then she also complains about the love story in Wonder Woman, and she says it's positioned as a no-homo response to the heroine's inherently queer backstory. And, you know, Diana was raised on a hidden island that contains only women. Lady, first of all, have you read the comics? Steve Trevor was not created for the movie. He's not a new character. He's been her love interest for a long time in the comics. Why is it suddenly a problem in the movie, but you didn't have a problem with it in the comics? Unless you've never read the comics and you just think they created Steve Trevor for the movies. Like, I want to know if these women have read the comics. That's what I want to know. None of them say whether or not they have read the comics. They just say whatever, but they don't actually say if they read the comics, which makes me think they have not read them. And then Christina says, Diana lets slip that she's learned men are integral to reproduction but unnecessary for purposes of pleasure. Truth drop. And yet, just a couple of days into her jaunt to stop the Germans from employing new chemical weapons, she's shutting himself into her hotel room, presumably so they can do sex things. First of all, Christina, she's the one that invited him in. Diana, did you not pay attention to the movie? He was gonna leave because he's a pretty respectful guy, even though he's a little not arrogant, but you know, he thinks he's above average or whatever. He kind of is. So, but Wonder Woman is the one that invites Steve Trevor in, which he's gonna leave, and then she kind of gives him this look like, stay. Did you not pay attention to the movie? She's the one that invites him in. And aren't you about liberation, do what you want, you know, freedom for women, all this stuff, equality? Okay, well, if guys can invite women in, women can invite guys too. So Wonder Woman's inviting Steve Trevor in her room. I've seen the movie multiple times. I noticed it the first time that she was kind of looked at him like, She didn't do this part, but you know, she was the one inviting him in, so that's why he came back in the room. So now you're trying to make her a victim? No. Oh my gosh. And then she says Diana is so clueless about men, human activity, and the basic concepts of manipulation and evil that her capacity for consent is somewhat blurry. Wait, are you saying she's stupid? No, she's not stupid, okay? Yeah, she's a little naive about man's world, and but she's not stupid. Like I said, she invited him in, and he's been so respectful of her. He didn't, like, you know, have sex with her on the boat. He didn't try anything. So no, she's not. Don't try to imply that she got somehow raped or whatever. You are just ridiculous. And then she says, perhaps I, a person who writes about gender and feminism every day and hasn't seen enough superhero stuff to be impressed by the mere existence of a female protagonist, and the wrong audience for this film. Maybe, but also, you know, you can just try to read the comics once in a while to get to know the characters a little bit more, especially if you're gonna write about them and you're gonna say, you know, all these things, and you just come off looking dumb, really, because I really don't think you read the comics. So, you know, this character is over 75 years old. There's a lot you can read about her, and you will look less dumb if you actually, you know, do your research before you write about it. Perhaps I was too distracted by the figure skater dress Diana wears for most of the film, sculpted with tiny bumps for her apparently ever erect nipples, to applaud the heavy-handed lines, "What I do is not up to you," the gesture toward female empowerment. Okay, she was wearing armor. Don't try to minimize her costume by saying, oh, it's a dress. No, she was wearing armor, okay? Awesome boots with the knee things to protect herself because she's fighting. She has a shield. And then the bump, I didn't see any bumps on her freaking costume, okay? So I don't know what you're talking about. And why are you looking at that? Seriously, that's what I'm saying. You guys just try to find any little thing to complain about. Really? And this movie, yes, it's great for females, but also it's just a great movie in general that anyone can enjoy. It's not just about female empowerment. It's about love and compassion and fighting for what's right, standing up for yourself, standing up for others. It's not just about female empowerment. There's a lot of good things for females in the movie. There are the Amazon warriors there, and Diana, she doesn't let Steve or anyone tell her what to do. You know, what I do is not up to you, you know, and you know, she goes out into no man's land when, you know, he tells her not to, so that's great. But I think that's a message that anyone can take, not just females. But I'm not saying it's not great for females. I do think it is great, but not just for females. So that's, no, I need to make that clear. I wondered why I'd come into this movie expecting some energizing woke feminist manifesto instead of a film that stars one sexy woman surrounded by throngs of horny men barely passing the Bechdel test after the opening scenes on Diana's home island. Maybe it's because, as with the Ghostbusters reboot, insecure men have seized upon Wonder Woman and its all-women screenings as evidence of a misandrous, matriarchal uprising that threatens their place in the world. Maybe I secretly hope those men were right. So wait, did you want Wonder Woman to, like, have a message that men are horrible, you know, just a man-hating message or something. You just don't get it, okay? You just don't get the movie. You don't get the character. Obviously, it doesn't really seem like you know anything about the character. You didn't read the comics, so I'm done. I'm done with this one. The other article that came out, this was June 5th, a little bit after the film came out. It was from Miss Magazine, and it was called When Will Wonder Woman Be a Fat Femme Woman of Color by Stephanie Abraham. Miss Magazine is an old magazine that Gloria Steinem started, and Wonder Woman was actually on the first cover of the magazine, which is cool. So one of the things she says is, although it doesn't go far enough, the film tries some things around race and representations as seen in Steve's motley crew of sidekicks. It's like nothing is ever enough for these people, really. Nothing nothing is ever enough for you guys. I thought the film had a lot of diversity. The Amazons, lots of diversity there. There was, you know, African American women, Asian women, all different, you know, body types, strong body types, because, you know, they're warriors. So what, do you want someone that's 400 pounds on Themyscira? No, okay? You can't be a warrior if you're that heavy, okay? I'm sorry, it's just, that's just the truth, okay? And then, you know, Steve's, you know, friends, they were diverse too, and I liked how they all had kind of their own little issue, I guess, that people can relate to. Sammy had the whole race thing with, you know, he's the wrong color to be an actor. Charlie, I think his name, he was dealing with PTSD. Chief, the Native American, you know, was talking about, you know, how the Americans slaughtered the Native Americans. To me, they were not throwaway characters, so I thought it was, you know, pretty good diverse cast. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I thought it was pretty good. And like, again, I'm not gonna read this whole article because it's too long. It's gonna take me forever to respond to everything. Then she says, why couldn't Wonder Woman be a woman of color? Okay, the simple answer, because she's not a woman of color in the comics. That's it. That's your answer. This is a over 75-year-old character. Okay, they're gonna make a movie of, you know, about this character, and they're just gonna completely change what she looks like. No, just to fit. Oh my gosh, we don't want to make the crazy feminists mad, so we gotta make her overweight. We gotta make her, you know, woman of color, even though she's not in the comics, even though she's not overweight in the comics. Just basically make her a completely different character. Then it's not the same character anymore. So that's basically it. That's the reason why she's not a woman of color, because she's not a woman of color in the comics. That's it. That's it. If they would have changed, you know, if they would have made her African American, would I have gotten mad? No, I would not have gotten mad. But they didn't, and that's okay, because that's, you know, they tried to follow the comics, so that's why they didn't change her, and that's fine. But I also would not have gotten mad if they would have made her, you know, a different ethnicity. But if the reasoning behind that change would have been, oh, because we want her to appeal to like these feminists, I would have been mad. It's like, really, no, don't change things for them, because these crazy feminists will never be happy, okay? No matter what you do, they're never gonna be happy. So it's pointless to change, you know, what you want to do to please them. Like, you're never gonna please them, so they're not the target audience, so don't change for them. Do what you want. And then she says, on Paradise Island there are black warriors in addition to white ones, which is a good start, but other women of color are missing. I mean, though they're light-skinned too, but there were Asian women. Did you not see the Asian women either? Also, while the female warriors are strong and butt-kicking, they all have tall, thin body types, and they could all be models on a runway. Okay, are you freaking kidding me? Have you done research on the Amazons? Okay, have you looked them up? Okay, let me show you some articles, okay? If you didn't know, the Amazons were pretty much all played by actual athletes. CrossFit athletes, wrestlers, trainers, even farmers, you know, Olympic athletes. Okay, look at these pictures. Do these look like Victoria's Secret models or like the really skinny, bony models on the runway? No. They're strong women. Look at this. Look at these abs. That's freaking awesome. That's strong, powerful. They're not, you know, tiny, tiny women. They're just really fit. Like, do you have a problem with women who are fit and beautiful? Like, I think it's awesome. I think mostly, and also that's the other thing too. I think a lot of these women, honestly, a lot of times they seem to complain because someone's beautiful. Like, why? Okay, are you not allowed to be good looking and be strong too or something? I mean, a lot of times I just think you guys are just jealous because maybe you can't work on yourself and get a better body, you know, work out more. You guys seem to have a problem with if you're good looking and if other people acknowledge that they're good looking. So what? If they're good looking and they want to acknowledge it, it's okay. Just don't be, you know, a creep about it. But these women are strong. Look at this bicep, man. Oh my goodness. What is she talking about? Oh, they could be, you know, models on the runway, maybe, but usually they don't get models that are this big in terms of muscle. You know, they don't get models that are this big for the runways. Like I said, these are actual athletes. See, look at those thighs. Fit thighs. I'm not making fun of her thighs. So here's some more pictures of the Amazons. Awesome, beautiful, strong women. So it is possible to be beautiful and strong. Look at that. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, look at that. I don't know why you're so threatened by women like this. I think it's actually awesome for young women to see this on the big screen, you know, because it'll inspire them hopefully to, you know, get fit. Muscles are awesome. Don't be scared of muscles. You know, I'm trying to get more fit. I don't want to be huge, but, you know, get more toned and everything. So it's cool to see that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Okay, so she continues. Especially with the body positivity movement gaining steam, the film could have spotlighted female warriors with fat, thick, and short body types. While people have said that warriors can be fat, some of our best paid athletes are particularly linebackers on the football field, and no one doubts their physical strength. They have muscle, okay? And also, it's not gonna be believable, okay, if these women that have been training pretty much their whole lives are fat. No, obviously if they're trained pretty much, it seems like every day, they're gonna be really toned and have muscle, okay? And also they're Amazons, so that's why they're not short. Honestly, do not read the comics. Amazons are not short. There are some that are shorter than others, but yeah, most of them seem to be pretty tall. I'm 5'4", I probably couldn't play an Amazon. I'm too short. That's fine, because I read the comics, so I'm not gonna get offended by that. They're big, but they have muscles. And no, they're not fat because they train all the time. So just use that logic, and yeah, so it'll make sense. And then she complained, in the end, Wonder Woman concludes that only love can save the world. While this may be true, I've never heard any other superhero say so. Why couldn't Wonder Woman fight for justice and eliminate bad guys without having to, in the end, make it about love? Perhaps a more interesting question is, why don't male superheroes do the same? Stephanie, do you read the comics? Again, probably not. But she does fight for justice. Just because she happened to say that only love can save the world doesn't mean that that's all she cares about. No! Did you watch the movie? Okay? She fights for what's right. She fights for those who can't defend themselves because she does care about justice. Okay?
I'm surrounded by idiots.
And then the other reason why she mentioned love was, if you actually paid attention to the movie, she fell in love with Steve Trevor, she lost him, and then that kind of gave her strength, I guess. Love can give you strength. I don't know if you've ever been in love with before, but it's true. When you're in love, you feel like you can do anything, and that's awesome. It's a great feeling. It does, kind of give you strength. So I don't think it's bad for her to be talking about love, and then her love for Steve was one of the reasons she was able to fight back against Ares. And I don't think it's bad for her to want to spread that message of love and compassion, and like, what's wrong about that? Just because she's a woman, she can't do that? And Superman's a pretty loving guy too. He's really, nice, and I think the love that he has for Lois, helps him. I think the main reason that, Wonder Woman said, only love can save the world is because of her love for Steve and how that gave her strength. She lost Steve, her love, and that gave her strength to fight back and keep on fighting for everyone else. And plus her talking about love and how love can save the world, I don't think that message it's not telling only the females watching the movie, only you can be about love, men, you guys cannot be about love. No! Okay, I've seen a lot of guys really kind of get that message and think it's a good message to spread, not just for women but for anyone. Just be a more loving and compassionate person. So I don't think it's her saying only love can save the world. I don't think that's her saying only women can be the loving ones. No, I think it's for everyone. Another recent article that came out, it's on the marysue.com. Now they're complaining, DC has no idea what we love about Wonder Woman, introduces new comic arc about Diana's brother. Okay, Vivian Kane, have you ever read the comics? She has a brother named Ares, and they have had storylines with him and other men and Wonder Woman working together. Just because it happens to come after the movie doesn't mean that they're like undermining everything that the movie did. Or what's wrong about that, about writing about her family. Like, honestly, there's just, I can't really say much because there's just nothing really wrong about it. It's just another part of her family, you know, I'm actually interested in it. Oh, she has a brother named Jason. Okay, that's interesting. If somebody would have told me, oh, there's gonna be a new story arc with, you know, and Diana's gonna have this new brother named Jason, you know, I'd be like, oh, cool, let me read it. Sounds interesting. Another character named Jason in the comics. You know, there's Jason Todd, but that's okay. I would still be interested. That's not saying that, that's not downgrading Wonder Woman or saying, oh, we don't want it to be about Wonder Woman anymore. We want the whole focus to be on a man. No! Oh, God. Seriously, like I said, they're just trying to find any little thing to complain about. And then they were also complaining about Gail Simone. She's gonna write Wonder Woman and Conan crossover, which I think is pretty cool. Conan the Barbarian, in case you didn't know. And I thought that was kind of funny too, because that Conan O'Brien bit where he was training with Gal Gadot, or Gadot, and he wanted to know if he was gonna be if he could be in the sequel. Well, even though it's not Conan O'Brien, it's still a Conan. He gets to be in a comic with Wonder Woman, so Conan O'Brien, you kind of got your wish in a way. But I heard that and I was like, that's cool, that's interesting. They're from two different worlds, and you know, I like crossovers in general just because I like to see how different characters from different worlds, you know, how they're gonna interact with each other. So I think that's awesome. They're both warriors. Yeah, I think that's gonna be cool. And some people were hating on Gail Simone because they were saying, why can't the crossover be with a female? Gail Simone said, I totally understand, but my thinking was, why should Diana only cross over with female characters? Conan is a really fun foil for her. I agree with that too. Why does she only have to fight against females? Like, why can't she go up against males? I think it's cool. Kick some butt with the guys. Awesome. So I think the character is more important. Like, whoever she goes against, as long as it's interesting, I think it's good. But you shouldn't make it, okay, it has to be only female, she can only be, you know, no. Why limit yourself? No. It's another thing that they need to complain about. I never want to make a video about this ever again. I'm so annoyed. It's just too many. And I have all the links to all the articles and everything in the description below. If you want to see my videos about the UN honor ambassador and the armpit thing, I'll probably put them somewhere around here. I could have gone more in depth, but I really don't want this to be too long. And also the marysue.com, I see as your little logo, it seems like you have a little drawn Hermione as your logo. Please, can you get rid of that, because Hermione is awesome and you're not really awesome, and she's smart and you guys don't seem to be very smart. Can you guys get rid of that as your mascot or whatever? That'd be awesome. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will talk to you guys later, and don't be dumb, okay? Bye.